One of the most recent anime series that has caught public attention, unlike any other, would be Fire Force. This series is filled to the brim with captivating and downright amazing characters. And of course, it totally lives up to the expectations one would have, as the original manga is from author Atsushi Ohkubo, the same man behind the incredibly popular Soul Eater series. But while Soul Eater mostly focuses on the weapon-meisted dynamics to form unbreakable bonds between its main characters, Fire Force has a completely different theme. Good old-fashioned plan-old interactions and engaging backstories are what Fire Force brings to all of its characters, and we must add that it has made quite a compelling plot indeed. And with this compelling plot come incredibly compelling characters. In this video, we're about to detail on the captivating powerhouse of the Fire Force, Charon. Charon, a second-generation pyrokinetic who works for the White Clad, as we all know, is a fascinating and impressive fighter to watch due to his special combat skills. This fighter sure has captivated so many hearts with his scenes and appearances on the show. Considering his appearance, Charon was a huge, tall, and incredibly shredded, with a sculpted body kind of man. To add to it all, he had tan skin and pretty light-colored hair. He was mostly seen wearing a blindfold, which came with a red cross symbol, something that kept us wondering if there was more meaning to it. His plain white robe from the past and his red cross blindfold were indeed iconic get-ups for a character. Charon's outfit was a little like a martial arts uniform, something like a kimono, accompanied by darkly colored fingerless gloves. He often accessorized his outfit with a dark-colored belt that boasted the same cross symbol as his blindfold, toeless tabi, and always kept his chest exposed, giving him the ideal medieval East Asian fighter look. But it's not just the look that kept watchers interested. Boy, wasn't he serious about his missions? Charon almost always appeared to be a committed and sincere member of the White Clad. His strong loyalty to the evangelist was indeed a trait hard to match. But then again, not everyone possesses only good traits. One of his not so admirable traits would be his impatience. His impatience also clearly showed during his interactions with Haumea. We've all seen instances where he would constantly ask Haumea if she understood what he was telling her and demand instant responses. Anything short of an instant response would lead to Charon losing his peace. This did not go very well with Haumea's aggressive personality and responses to his distractions. This is probably one of the reasons Charon always viewed her with both irritation and frustration. But this fighter still had a solid heart. In spite of all the frustration, Charon still cared deeply about Haumea. The fact that he had taken her in since toddlerhood probably played a part in this. Another peculiar habit the fighter had was asking too many questions, and this would be the same for both his friends and foes. Charon displayed both confidence and cunning, slyness during combating the weaknesses of his foes, and seems to enjoy conflict more than others. He was great at tricking his opponents into believing he had a third-generation ignition ability. Charon never compromised when it came to looking after Haumea. The guardian role was something he took very seriously. This even made it look like they were a father-daughter pair. His love for Haumea was nothing shorter than unconditional, and the fighter was ever empathetic to her constant suffering and violent outbursts caused by her Adola link. He stood firm with his mission, hoping that the evangelist would purify the evils of mankind and end Haumea's suffering once and for all. This is probably why we always witness an uncomfortable and confused Charon while seeing Haumea in pain. It would always trouble him deeply, and he never knew how to argue with her. However, Haumea wasn't the only one Charon dedicated himself to. This loyalty also extended to the other pillars, despite other guardians disliking it, and even to the pillars who were from the opposing parties. So when we say he has a heart, he sure has one of gold. Coming to his background, it was about 12 years ago that the 16-year-old Charon accompanied Haumea to find the new Adola Burst host. In their attempt to successfully abduct the third pillar, Charon even came up with a false body to be used as a substitute for the mother of their planned target. And while under the control of Haumea, a newly created demon infernal brought the infant Sho to Charon and Haumea. To list out all of his abilities would be a task indeed, cause he sure was a talented and skilled fighter. One thing that Charon was considered to be an expert at was his hand-to-hand combat. He was capable of powerful, quick strikes, and could grab using his incredibly fascinating strength and sturdy, muscular frame. His strikes were strong enough to completely blow a human body to pieces with almost no effort. And we have all seen how these blows have left the surrounding areas with dents and craters. His body not only looked like one of an ideal fighter, but was also durable, and he possessed the ability to recover as fast as possible from receiving blows again and again. Heck, he could even recover from a tremendous explosion in almost no time. Charon was also strong enough to withstand slashes from blades, while showing not even a scar of any sort of damage to his body. Speaking in terms of pyrokinesis, with the aid of a second-generation power, Charon was able to take in and store kinetic energy from any strike that struck him. He was able to use his thermal energy to attack by converting it into stored power. Because of this, he was able to both produce large explosions and repel powerful pyrokinetic strikes. How cool is that? Charon was able to produce a variety of explosions by channeling energy to various regions of his body. He did this by making little movements like clapping or snapping. When Charon unleashed his thermal energy, he was unable to release and absorb energy at the same time, making him susceptible to defenses and damage. And in addition to all of this, Charon has a limit to how much energy he can take in at once, because deflecting one of Nataku's nuclear blasts leaves him critically exhausted and unable to fight for a while. His body was exhausted from absorbing the energy from Takehisa Hinawa's powerful repeated blasts, but he was still able to direct all of the accumulated energy into a blast before passing away from exhaustion. With his skills, Charon has shown great strength against strong pyrokinetic fighters like Yuichi no Kurono and Benimaru Shinmon, the latter referring to him as a monster after he had survived Benimaru's attacks without being hurt. Now that we've done a little detailing on his background and abilities, some of the best plots involving Charon that made fans absolutely fall in love with him would definitely be worth listing out. First up, we have the VS Special Fire Force Company 4 arc. From a rooftop, Charon and Haumea watch the activities inside the Fire Force training school transparently. Haumea revels in the usage of Company 4 to irritate Shinra Kusakabe. Haumea communicates with Charon and commands him to complete the situation fast, as the conflict rages from the rooftops to the streets. Shinra analyzes Charon's attack strategy before realizing the true nature of his powers as he renews his assault. To stop Charon from absorbing any kinetic energy, Shinra first tries to avoid striking him, but Charon merely commands his own minions to attack him. The energy released as a result of this enables Charon to create a massive blast that almost brings Shinra down to his knees, but he stands resolute. A confusing scenario for Charon to still witness Shinra alive, but a magical scene to witness for the audience. And of course, we can't forget the victorious scene where the fight between Shinra versus Charon happens. As Shinra launches attack after attack while making the Korna gesture, the rhythm of the fight shifts once more as she is consistently defeated by Charon's power. When Charon makes another attempt to counterattack, Shinra successfully uses his Hellfire technique to get past Charon's defenses and lift him into the air. Although Charon's fall leaves a crater in the ground, he gets to his feet in a flash and grinned, and kicks the worn-out Shinra out of the way. When Charon gets the go-ahead to retreat from Haumea, Inca turns to go, so that he can thwart Shinra's attack plan. They victoriously leave Shinra defeated in the street after Inca freely decides to join Charon and his soldiers. Charon reassembles with Haumea and gets ready to deal with Panda until Inca personally sends her companion on his way. We all got goosebumps watching this part, that's for sure. And there you have it. That was a little on who the unstoppable force of the White Clan was. What are your opinions on Charon? Feel free to let us know in the comments section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the tiny bell icon on the side to stay notified and updated on all of our upcoming content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.